Hello, I'm Carol Dantzler, and welcome to I-9 Coding. Our objective today is to interpret the I-9 coding conventions. So get out your I-9 coding book. Turn to the front section. It's Section 1. Section 1 is your I-9 coding conventions. And your coding conventions, these are general rules for I-9. Think of your coding conventions as traffic rules that you need to follow in order to get to your final destination, in this case, the correct code. So again, your coding conventions, think of them as traffic rules that are going to help you get to the correct code. I want to focus on just two of the coding conventions. We're going to focus in this lesson on NEC and NOS. So if you look under abbreviations in your book, and I've got these highlighted, so you see that there, NEC and NOS. We're going to focus on these. NEC means not elsewhere classifiable. So when you see this next to a code, NEC, not elsewhere classifiable, what this means is that there's not a specific code in the I-9 code book for that particular condition or diagnoses. You're going to see NEC in both the alphabetical index and the tabular index. Let's find an example. I want you to go to your alphabetical index, and I want you to go to abnormal. So go to abnormal. So abnormal, and you can't see this very well, but abnormal, and then scroll down till you see clinical findings. Clinical findings. So what you see is clinical findings, NEC, not elsewhere classifiable, and you see the code 796.4. So when you see NEC, all it means is that there's not a specific code in the code book to identify this particular condition or diagnosis. So don't be alarmed when you see that. Now let's go back to our coding conventions in the front of our book, and let's take a look at NOS. When you see NOS, that means not otherwise specified. So NOS is not otherwise specified. This is equivalent to unspecified when you see this. And what this means is that you don't have enough documentation in the chart. So it's a 0.9 unspecified. Let's look at an example. You're going to see NOS only in the tabular list. So you only see NOS only in your tabular list. Let's go to code 426.9. 426.9 in your coding book. So when you get there, it says conduction disorder unspecified, and underneath that you'll see heart block and you'll see NOS. Again, not otherwise specified is equivalent to unspecified. So what I would suggest that you do is you go to your coding conventions, again, in the front of your book. Take a look at all of these. Punctuation. You have symbols such as brackets, parentheses. When you see parentheses next to a condition or diagnosis in your code book, again, don't be thrown off by that. That simply has no bearing on the condition that you're going to see. Your brackets. When you see brackets next to a code, the brackets are used in the tabular list to enclose synonyms or alternative wording or phrases for that particular condition. So these are used in the index to identify what we call a manifestation code, such as diabetes neuropathy would be an example. Also take a look at your includes and excludes notes, the term with and. So again, go through your coding conventions, review them, make sure you understand what they mean, because again, these are your actual road rules for traveling when you're doing coding, so you have to understand the basic rules of the road when you're coding. Well, I hope you have found this lesson helpful.